Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30 this Friday, January 24th, and we are still seeing some weakness. It's a nice with that retest we were talking about here going into that 2 o'clock hour. Didn't turn out to be a retest at all. There's no real failure setting up there. They just absolutely ran it lower. If you got faked out on that move, then yeah, well, you had a tight stop and you didn't lose too much in that thing, but no point of making it much bigger than that. So. They took it one leg lower than down here at the support area. So at the 65, the 35s, if they took that out, we thought the next shot was at the 20s, and that's exactly where they are. Now let's see if that retest failure is going to hold. Right now it's setting up. It's potentially developing right now. We'll see what happens with it. But if you get long on that one, no reason to have not have a stop. Maybe at this 16, 17 level. Shouldn't be taking it much lower than that. We'll find out to see how that turns out. So far, weakness. I'm not seeing a lot of buying interest, but you never know. We're getting into that last half hour of the day, so are we going to get a bargain hunt rally, or are we going to get further weakness? Anyone's guess. If they start taking out, I would say that if they take out the support area at 61.20, uh, I would start. Well, if they close above the 35s, I'm going to stay on the long side. Below 35s, I'm going to be range bound. If they take out the 6110s, I'm going to probably lean in on the short side and look for retest of these 6100s, maybe lower. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. The weakness could turn around in the last moment and turn into a bull market or like a bargain hunt rally. So as long as it's trade below 35s, we are range bound. Above it, we're going to lean long. Below 61.10, we lean short. And for retest to the lows, maybe lower. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. We'll see if this turns into something bigger than just a little bit of afternoon weakness. All right, so that's the ES to get started. No trades at all for me today. That's kind of been watching it. This slop in the afternoon on a Friday. I've been working on some other stuff, so I kind of haven't been paying too much attention to it. But definitely opportunities on the short side after they took out the 35s here for a move to the downside. So Nasdaq was even moving even more, but you kind of look at the chart to get on that. And then, of course, on the Friday, you just kind of have to be, either you pay attention to your chart or you don't. So the most common mistake I do myself is I um, I don't pay attention to the charts. And when something it flickers on the chart and you glance over, you see something, you react to it, and then you realize before you do it, you had put on a trade and something like, what am I thinking? That's the classic one, right? Anyway, so bond market just range bound. They haven't taken it lower. They have hit the 113. So I would say range bound trading, given the structure, I would be looking for retest so that 08 to 10 is going to get started in the overnight. But chances are we're just going to see a range bound market there. Nasdaq also pulled it lower. Look at that thing. They absolutely knocked it down. So they're down here at the 28,860s. As we thought, if they took out the 960 support area, we had the first stop was at the 930s, and we were looking at this retest failure potentially to hold, but no, they just knocked it down and one more level down to say 850 to 60. And at this point, we are right at that area which need to hold unless we're going to start thinking short side of the market. So if they can close above hold above 850 to 60, I'm going to stay range bound below it. I'm going to lean short, see if we can run it down to the 800s. And if they close above the 970s, I'm going to stay on the long side. So between the 970 and the 850 to 60 here, or 60 to 850s, I'm going to stay range bound if they close in this range. So a little bit of a weakness in the afternoon. So far, it hasn't really turned into a free-for-all selling, even if it looks pretty drastic on the chart. It's not in the range-wise that crazy. And at this point, so it's stalling. They're going back and forth. We'll see. I mean, at this point, getting short against that upper area at the 880 to 90, that's your trade location you need to have if you're going to have a decent entry on that. And if you're wrong, you don't have to have a big stop. If you get short when it starts moving lower, you give up all your trade location and you have nowhere to go, really. I do this all the time, just so you know. When it starts moving lower, it's like, okay, I get on the short. It's like, oh shit. And then it starts going sideways or so if you're thinking short side of market continuation, you're looking for an entry at the upper end of that range. And if you're thinking long, you're looking to buy at the lower end of this range. So either way you do it, you get better trade location and you have a shot at repairing the trade if you're wrong. So that's the Nasdaq. Looking at oil and gold. Gold is as range bound. They're still holding this range though. They're still holding the 770. So at this point, starting off on the long side, if they close below the 870, or sorry, the 770, 2775 is that's what it is. 2775. If they close below that, I'm going to be looking for rotation back to 2750s. If they close above it, I'm going to lean towards the long side and see if they can take retest that 95, maybe even go higher. For me, this move to the upside felt a little bit off beat, if you wish. No reason for that to trade higher, I think. So kind of a red flag. Kind of pay attention to the markets. But we'll see how that develops. At this point, as long as they hold 75s or above it, I'm going to stay on the long side. And then finally, oil. It's just a range-bound market on oil. They were down here flirting with the lows at 74, could not take it out. They're back up. Early on in the morning, the reverse retest is 75. That was the trade we called out this morning. They're getting short against that reverse retest for rotations back down. That has worked pretty good. It's not been by any means a straight shot up and down, but it's definitely gave you an opportunity to get a few ticks out of that trade. After that, continuation. So we just ended up in a range bound day, and I have honestly not looked at oil or gold today in any bigger way. So if oil starts one of those grinds to the downside, with like a $2, $3, $4 kind of a move kind of day, you'll see that going on. It starts with a pretty good selling in the morning. That's the kind of day I'm looking for. That would be awesome. I'm gonna be more aggressive on the short side at that point. But at this point, it's that range bound is the key word right now. All right, back to the ES. And so far, all right, they're still holding. They're still holding at the support there. It's not a good sign that they're building value right at the low here. So chances are they may try to take this lower, but we'll see how it develops in these last few minutes. So no trades for me today. It's too sloppy of a morning, and I asked, should I paid attention this afternoon? I may have done something on the short side, but at this point, kind of missed the whole thing. So we'll leave it there. Hopefully you guys put something on. We'll see you guys back bright and early on Monday. Get started, do this all over again. Ready, guys. I'll see you back Monday morning. Later.